Welcome to the Does This Happen to You podcast, where we explore the funny side of truth is stranger than fiction stories. Our story this week is from Oren Onken, who you'll find on medium.com, and here is a guide for women to male backyard cooking appliances. Milestones on the male culinary odyssey. My wife allows me to have 2 outdoor cooking appliances on our back deck. Any more than that, she claims, makes the place look like a used car lot. I can live with a limitation. In all other respects, she is a good wife. Limited to 2 devices, I swap out items every 2 years or so. In the spring, I get rid of one and replace it with another. Deciding what to get rid of and what to replace it with takes all winter. Time spent researching, thinking, wandering the back alleys of Reddit, and consulting with the other old guys at the park. None of the items I abandon are worn out or obsolete. I replace them as part of my outdoor cooking journey, just as one might take the Grand Canyon off your potential summer vacation list because you went there last year. Every time I swap out cooking devices, my wife rolls her eyes and gives me that "men are so silly" look. This led me to believe that it would be worthwhile to create a simple guide to the milestones on every man's outdoor cooking journey. The hibachi. For most men of my age, old, outdoor cooking began on a hibachi. A hibachi is small, portable, and even today a guy can get a cheap cast iron model from Home Depot for $40. I first cooked on a hibachi leaning out a kitchen window to reach the fire escape of my San Francisco apartment. Tending a hibachi is where I first experienced the thrill of endangering my home and the whole fire-prone city for the sake of a hamburger. It is a unique sensation, one that I have been recreating in different forms for 50 years. A hibachi uses coal as the fuel. You build red-hot coals and cook close to them. Great for burgers, steaks, and anything stabbed with a bamboo stick. The kettle. As soon as a man marries and acquires a backyard, he buys a kettle. Usually it is a Weber, the iconic and best of the kettles. A kettle looks like a deflating beach ball on legs. The kettle is much larger than a hibachi and has a cover which, when removed, reveals a grilling surface vast enough to feed all the guys who helped the young couple move into that new home. The kettle, like the hibachi, uses charcoal as fuel, only more of it. More is always better. A guy can build a hot fire and cook close like he did with a hibachi, but because the kettle has a lid, he can also turn it into an outdoor oven. With the coals banked against one wall of the kettle, he can put a chicken on the side with no coals, put the lid in place, and roast the bird to a safe eating temperature without turning that luscious chicken skin into carbon. Up to this point, the man's grilled food has had a mild smoky flavor because fat from the food dropped onto the hot coals, burned up, and made smoke. Shortly after he learns how to turn a kettle into an oven, he will figure out that if he throws some hickory chips on the coals before putting the lid on, the inside of the kettle will fill with smoke, and the food that comes out will taste vaguely like bacon. Bacon is the food of the gods. Your guy has had his first taste of smoking meat. There is no going back from here. Smoking meat, eating smoked meat, and talking about smoked meat is like heroin for men. The gas grill. The next stop on the masculine backyard cooking journey is the gas grill. This will probably be a Weber, but there are a lot of brands and a huge price range. The gas grill, as the name implies, uses propane gas from a gray tank for fuel. For the first time, rather than cooking over glowing coals, the backyard chef will cook over flame. And should the flame get loose, there is enough propane in that tank to blow up his nice backyard and the house, too. A man gets a gas grill because it is different and because he is tired of the delay, dirty hands, and effort involved in having to light charcoal. The flames on a gas grill spring to life at the push of a button, and your guy is ready to cook in 10 minutes. Most guys will stay with a gas grill for several years. They can cook hot, close to the flame. They can close the lid and turn the thing into an oven. They can add a metal box filled with wet wood chips, and it will even smoke a little. It does everything. And for a working stiff who wants to get food on the grill fast, it is perfect. I owned gas grills for most of my working life. Unfortunately, the gas grill, like any device that attempts to do everything, does all of those things badly. A smoker. Eventually, your bacon-loving man will become frustrated with the weak baconicity of his culinary output and decide that he needs a smoker. Up to this point, he has been grilling, cooking over hot direct heat, or roasting, cooking with hot indirect heat, but barbecue, true barbecue, is created at low temperatures in a smoke-filled environment. The barbecue mantra is low and slow. Kettles and gas grills can be MacGyvered to smoke meat, but eventually your guy will want an appliance built for the job. Smokers come in all shapes and sizes. Big smokers look like a barrel tipped on its side and have a firebox attached in which you build a smoky fire. My smoker was more modest, a Weber Smoky Mountain. It was shaped like a giant black Tylenol capsule. I'd put charcoal and smoking wood in the bottom rack, water in the middle, and ribs on the top rack. The result was a humid, smoke-filled oven that would maintain a temperature of between 225 and 250 degrees for several hours with minimal fuss. Nothing soothes the wild male beast better than sitting in the sun, sipping a drink, and watching smoke escape from a perfectly working smoker. The odor of the cooking meat will spread across your neighborhood, attracting other barbecue men, and it is highly likely that several of them will end up on your deck mesmerized by wisps of smoke coming out of a black metal can. With a smoker, a guy can make ribs, pulled pork, and the most challenging of any smoked meat, brisket. When he gets a smoker, the game is on. A Kamado grill. The most popular brand of Kamado grill is the Big Green Egg, which is a perfect description of what it looks like. The Kamado is heavy and expensive, but it promises to do everything. It uses charcoal, preferably lump charcoal, the kind that looks like black pieces of tree limbs. Your guy can cook hot for steaks, and with the lid down, it becomes an oven that will reach pizza oven temperatures. Close the vents to limit the flow of air to the coals, and it will hold low and slow barbecue temperature for hours. A Kamado grill is made of a ceramic material that feels and looks like cement. It can explode and is unlikely to start your neighborhood on fire, so the danger, an essential element of any masculine cooking device, comes from how heavy it is and the possibility that it will fall over and flatten your cat. If a guy can refrain from knocking his big green egg over and breaking it like the egg after which it is named, it should last for decades. No man wants durability like that. I kept mine for 3 years and then passed it on to a younger man. The pellet grill. The pellet grill is another do-it-all appliance. The premier brand is Traeger, and Traeger is today synonymous with pellet grills. A pellet grill looks like a gas grill, but relies for heat on wood pellets that come in 20-pound bags. A screw-type device feeds the pellets into the burn chamber. A Traeger has as many controls as a kitchen stove and has to be plugged into an electrical outlet to make those controls work. But once you pour in the pellets and finish tinkering with the controls, it's like the Ronco rotisserie. Set it and forget it. Like the Kamado, a Traeger will do everything and last a long time. The danger factor surrounding a Traeger is minimal, the only real threat being that it is so automated that the human cook becomes irrelevant. That is the reason I have never owned one. The griddle. Eventually, your meat-smoking man discovers that although he can make most foods taste like bacon, he cannot, on his grill, actually cook bacon. The melting bacon grease falls into the coals and bursts into flame, resulting in injury, calls to the fire department, or both. Bacon strips and, if we're being honest, burger patties are best when cooked in a foaming pool of their own grease. When your man finally comes to terms with this truth, he will buy a griddle. A griddle is a flat hunk of sheet metal with propane gas burners underneath, a home version of the flat top used to create food at Denny's, the Waffle House, and every greasy spoon ever. The most popular brand of home griddle is Blackstone. Griddles do anything one could do in a frying pan, but they excel at the stuff we eat in the morning. When your man is in his griddle phase, expect huge, unhealthy breakfasts, even for dinner. And then down the rabbit hole. I have described the milestones on an ordinary man's backyard cooking journey. Once each of these has been reached, he is authorized by the Brotherhood of Masculinity to dive down the rabbit hole into the off-brands, the inventive, and the unusual. The possibilities are limitless. This year, I dumped my griddle. How many smash burgers can one man make? I kept my charcoal PK360 grill, a niche item that excels at hot and close, but also does a decent job of small batch, low and slow. I placed upon it a wok burner, which can heat the oil to deep fry a turkey or take a wok from cold to volcanic in 90 seconds. With my setup for this summer, I can stir-fry Kung Pao chicken on Monday, and after removing the wok burner, grill some chicken wings on Tuesday. My wife accepts it all with aplomb, only asking that I clean up and put the cover on when I am finished. I told you she was a good wife. Thanks for listening. I'm Chris Kepler, and I hope you enjoyed listening to these stories as much as I enjoyed narrating them. I'd love for more people to hear these wonderful stories, so please share and tell your friends.